Unfortunately, this story is just not a unique one. More and more lately, I've seen other artists talk about their experiences with artificial streams, so I decided to join them and speak out about my experiences as well. When I dropped my first album, Z1, in late 2023, I started getting artificial streams immediately in around January or February of 2024. At the time, I didn't know what artificial streams were. I thought one person from Finland really liked my track debut, so much so that they had to play it 100 times that day, then never again. What was I thinking? In the last 9 months, I've had not 2, not 3, but 5 waves of these bots. It's been... For those of you that don't know, artificial streams are streams that don't reflect genuine user listening intent, including any instance of attempting to manipulate streaming services like Spotify by using automated processes such as bots or scripts, aka not real people streaming your music. Oh crap, that broke. Why does this happen? Well, when some genius decides to pay for one of these programs, that playlist needs real music so it looks legit. The top dog artists can also get into these playlists as well. However, they have a bunch of superfans who will stream their music 1,000 times in one day. However, we, as small artists, we don't. So it raises flags at Spotify HQ. Spotify has one defense against these playlists, is their playlist reporter. That's it. That's all we have to work with. I send it to the playlist reporter, and then a day or two, Spotify deletes the playlist, deletes the streams, and deletes the money I got from it, and all would be well. We did this every time. Until July. On July 2nd, I was at my friend's birthday party, lighting up the dance floor, having a good time, you know, the usuals. Once I finally got home at around 11, the last thing I saw that day was an email from my publisher, Distrokid.
Don't let me leave, Merv!
Story for another day. Distrokid told me that some of my songs were hit by artificial streams and were taken down. They also told me to contact Spotify. Only a few songs from the album were ever hit by these bots though. Debut, Downtown Brawling, and It Is Was... It Is Was... no! It Is What It Was. That... I should never have named it that. But they also decided to take down the rest of the album. If you check my year 1 playlist, you'll see them hidden, except for Freedom Woohoo. Wow, these names aren't that great when I say them out loud. Which just plays the demo version from another album, even though they don't share the same ISRC code, so I don't know how it's connected, but none of the other songs are connected. Back to the topic. I don't know why I was being contacted about this now. This was an ongoing issue until May. This is July. It still annoys me when I think about this. Oh my. I thought me and Spotify were on good terms. I would report the playlist, Spotify delete the playlist. So why is this happening now? That was the POV my friends and family got whenever I told them about this story. Sorry. So the next morning, instead of hanging out with family that was visiting, I decided to contact Spotify. When I contacted Spotify, they first put me up with a bot, which is pretty ironic. Anyways, essentially the bot told me, don't pay for these fake streaming service, whatever, don't pay for it. That's when I told them,
I didn't do it.
As I previously stated, that bot sent me over to a real person. And then the same conversation happened again. Don't pay for these streaming, don't pay for these platforms, blah blah blah. That's what they kept telling me. So I told them, Spotify doesn't even pay me. Yeah, on a side note, I actually haven't been paid by Spotify since May 2024, even though I've gotten real streams since. And if they did, it wouldn't be enough to cover the cost of these platforms. After doing some research for this video, I found out it's actually incredibly dirt cheap depending on which site you use. And if I did pay for these, why would I report them to you guys to take it down? Anyways, I was then sent over to a third person. The third person checked out the rest of the messages and essentially told me to contact my distributor. After my distributor told me to contact Spotify. It's great. After they told me that, they then also forcefully shut the conversation down. So, I reluctantly contacted Distrokid.
No!
They simply told me to just re-upload it. Why couldn't they start with that in the email that they originally sent me? I don't know. Since that event, my monthly listener count has been cut in half. Yeah, I didn't know that my first album was bringing half my audience, but apparently it was. So thanks, Spotify. Recently, I was checking my pay stubs, and I saw that I got bot streamed from a site called Luna back in December and October of 2024. I was informed about it in August. So I assume that's what happened with Spotify. They just haven't told me about it yet. Can you tell? Can you tell by my tone of voice and my face that I love dealing with this stuff? Another part of the problem is probably me, if I'm going to be honest. There's this site called Slaps, which is connected to Distrokid. Starting to get it now? Yeah. Anyways, on this site, you can upload your own music. It's mostly for collaboration and promotion with other artists. Most of the music on that site's pretty bad. There's this one artist I found. She's pretty cool. Here she is. Go check her out. Anyways, as I was saying, I had my music on there. And besides artists, there's also people trying to promote their AI services and other stuff like that. So they'll text you or leave comments being like, hey, love your music, by the way, and then tell you to go to their website. And some people just blatantly tell you that they put your music on their playlist, which is what happened to me the first time around back in 2024, January. I don't think every single time was connected to that website, but I think at least the first few times it came from that website. Because I remember the first time someone said that is when I got this happening to me. None of this surprises me though. Spotify loses money on small artists like me. They don't even make enough money to begin with. We don't bring in enough revenue like the top dogs or the A freaking I accounts to warrant putting in enough effort to keep us up on the platform when stuff like this happens. Speaking of money, if all the streams that I got were real, which is around 6,000 streams, I would have made around $16.38. Yeah, I would have liked to have that money, but it's not a lot. I still haven't re-released my first album yet. I'm gonna do that once I make the jump to CD baby, but until then it's still up everywhere else, so that's why I'm in no rush. I'd be lying if I said this event hasn't affected me. It makes me worried for my future projects that I'm gonna put more work and money into. There's no beating or escaping this thing. Even if you work with Spotify like me to get it deleted, it still happens to you. Whatever.